What's going on, everybody? Jukebox Ginger here with second episode of Jamming with Jukebox Ginger, and I've got my guest and friend John here with me. How you doing, man?
Good.
Good. Thanks for coming on. I've also got Scotty Hasting. Scotty, how you doing, man?
I'm good, man. How are you?
Dude, I'm fantastic. I always enjoy doing this because this is my guys' night out right here. So I do as many shows as I can.
Absolutely.
Sounds like you had a pretty busy day today, so that's good.
Yeah, man. Today's been hectic. Go from the studio at 11 o'clock until about 2:30, and then run straight to a show that started at 3 o'clock and go until I just got back to my house. So like 8:45 now. So yeah,
dude, that's a long day. And I'm a manager at Costco, and I work some crazy hours, but I don't think I could sing. I'd have no voice. I'd have no voice.
yeah. Luckily, playing 4-hour shows and doing 2 of them a day and stuff like that kind of get your voice used to being destroyed, basically.
Have you had to cancel shows because of your voice being?
Oh, absolutely. I've had to, where like I'll either get sick or my allergies will be messing with me, and then my voice is just gone. And I've definitely canceled shows in the past for that. So absolutely.
No shit. So has country music always been sort of something you grew up with and enjoyed, or?
Yeah, absolutely. I fell in love with country music basically because of my dad. We would listen to the Garth Brooks Friends in Low Places cassette tape at this time because CDs weren't even a thing.
What's a cassette tape, man?
I know, right? But we would basically put it on repeat, man, in his cars and stuff like that, and just listen over and over and over again. And I just fell in love with country. So you could say my dad got me into it, or Garth Brooks got me into it. Either way.
I remember in high school, my sister had a Ford Focus, and she got an amp put in it and subwoofer, and she had the first Gretchen Wilson CD.
Oh, heck yeah.
And she would blare it, and we drive around the city listening to Gretchen Wilson.
Absolutely, man.
So, and I've grown up with all music. I enjoy all of it, man. Obviously I don't enjoy every artist, but I enjoy all genres. Sure. So everything from smooth jazz to death metal and everything in between. So
yeah, honestly, that's how I am too. I will literally listen to anything. But anything. It's just for me, and for singing and performing, it's country music, man.
Well, you have the voice for country music. There's no doubt about that.
Well, I appreciate that, but it's definitely that's just where my heart is, man. I'm very country-ish in my lifestyle. So
yeah. Have you always grown up in Nashville, or?
No, I'm actually originally from northern Kentucky, which is just on the other side of Cincinnati. We shared, my mom lived in Ohio, my dad lived in northern Kentucky, so I was back and forth between, the Milford, Ohio, northern Kentucky areas, so back and forth through Cincinnati and stuff. So yeah,
right on, man. Yeah, we're in Kansas City on the Kansas side.
Heck yeah, man! I was stationed in the military at Fort Riley, so I've been to Kansas City way more than I want to say that I've been to Kansas City. So
Fort Riley's only about an hour from here.
Yep, absolutely.
Yep. And we're out by the NASCAR Speedway, actually. So
heck yeah, man.
If you're into NASCAR,
Things go fast in the race, absolutely.
So let's talk about a little bit of like before you got into the military. Like, how was your life growing up?
Yeah, man, it was great. I've always been super supported with my family, and I played sports growing up, and that was kind of, our world. Our world's growing up revolved around sports and playing baseball or basketball or football. That's for me and my brother. That was what we did.
Right.
And yeah.
All right, on, man. If you look on your screen to the right, it says comments. You can see when people pop up.
Oh yeah.
M. Kirk sent a wave sign, so gotta give a shout out to M. Kirk here. So when you joined the military, was that right out of high school, or
No. So I was actually playing semi-pro baseball at the time, and for an independent league, and I just, I'd always had this feeling that I needed to do something more, that I needed to go out and I needed to do something. What I was doing wasn't it. and I eventually. So originally, I was supposed to join the Marines with my buddy. We were supposed to do the buddy program that they had at the time, and go in together. And he ended up going without me because at the time I was like, man, baseball's it. Like I'm gonna play baseball. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna be a professional. And and I just wasn't getting anywhere. And then the person that I was with at the time, she was like, listen, if the military is what you want to do, then you need to go do it. So I went and met with a recruiter, and I was like, and that was kind of it. I was like, listen, this is it. This is what I want to do. I was 21 or 22 when I joined the military. So
Okay.
So yeah, I was the old guy in basic training, man.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's pretty old actually for most
Absolutely.
of them.
Absolutely. Which means that I got to see how dumb people actually are, and everyone else just thought it was normal. And I'm like, no. Yeah.
So you get into the military. When you say your early 20s? What year was this roughly?
2010. I joined October. Officially went off to basic training October 2010.
Okay, and you did get shipped out.
Yeah,
several times, right?
Mm-hmm. Just once.
Just once.
Yeah, it only took once, and then
it's and you have a very like touching story, man. I mean, I have respect for all vets and everyone in the military, but for those that can come out and talk about what happens, it's like it's good to hear, and I understand that some people can't talk about it. So
yeah, absolutely. I mean, there's certain things that I don't like to talk about, but
yeah,
I mean, I don't mind talking about how I got shot because
yeah,
kind of how it is.
So and I feel like is the stories that they tell kind of have a lot to do with kind of your time in the military or no?
Yeah, so I don't know if you want me to get into the stories that to tell yet or
no. Let's talk about before that. I'm just curious.
Yes, I mean it has a lot to do with my experience and within the military and the people that I've met and known throughout the military and stuff like that. Absolutely.
So, well, let's talk a little bit about your time in the military, whatever you want to talk about, really.
Yeah, no, we can talk about whatever, man.
So you get shipped over there. Where were you stationed at?
So I was stationed at Fort Riley, and we went to Afghanistan. We went to the Kandahar province of Afghanistan, which is RC South for anyone who's been there. They'll know what that means. But basically the southern part of Afghanistan, and it was it was a hot spot. There was a lot of fighting at the time when we went over. The issue is it was like in the Arghandab Valley region area. Okay. And we watched some type of documentary. I watched it with my parents, and that was a dumb idea. We watched some type of documentary that followed soldiers that were in the Arghandab River Valley, and I was like, this probably wasn't the best idea to watch with my parents because now they're gonna be freaking out.
Of course. And
sure they were. Absolutely.
So I'm guessing super hot at the time.
Oh yeah. I mean there was constantly fighting. We were
what was your ranking when you went over there?
When I went to Afghanistan, I was a PFC, I think.
All right.
Yeah, man. When I officially retired, I retired as a E5 sergeant. So.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
So what was this all in 2010, or you were in the military for a few years, right?
Yeah. So I was we left in Afghanistan, or we left to Afghanistan in 2011. So yeah.
Was this about time of 9/11?
No.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. No, it was just it was our time to go. So we went.
Yeah.
Originally, it's weird because originally the unit that I went with, 44 Cav, they're still at Fort Riley. But the unit that I went with, they had trained up for Iraq. They had trained up for a bunch, basically everywhere at the time that we were involved in some type of conflict. They were trained up for, except for Afghanistan. And then they were like, "Oh yeah, no, we're going to Afghanistan." Like, okay, cool. What we're doing, sweet.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was a lot of learning on the fly.
Yeah.
Luckily, we had some great senior enlisteds and some people who were in charge that had been in Afghanistan before. So
That's good.
we basically just used them as our crutches through the beginning there.
All right. So that's again, I've never experienced it. I did try to join out of high school, but I had some medical stuff that kind of kept me from getting involved. But
Absolutely.
so when you're over there, I kind of want to, if you're willing to talk about being shot.
Yeah, no, that's fine.
How did that day go?
So originally, so with that day, we were going to a suspected bomb maker's hut thing. The walls are made out of poop and water and mud. So that's basically what it is. It's a hut. So we were headed in that direction. So we were basically walking that direction, and we had been walking in the same direction for a while. And if anyone's been in, a conflict where you're walking a lot, you have to change direction so that the enemies they can't pin down your location, set up an ambush, stuff like that. So we had been walking, and we stopped for a second to double check the map. And while we were stopped, there was an older guy that was walking around and basically just trying to figure out what the hell we were doing. Most people are just kind of trying to figure out what we're doing over in Afghanistan. They always look at you like, you don't belong here. What the hell are you doing? That's exactly every look that you're going to get when you're in Afghanistan. So we decided to basically change course. Instead of going straight, we decided to take a little bit of a left. When we decided to take a left, we were walking down this. For us, it would be a sidewalk. For them, it's a road, which is insane. I don't know. Honestly, I say this in a YouTube video that I posted about getting shot. I don't know if the Afghan people are the greatest drivers or just the craziest fucking drivers that I've ever seen. They will literally put a van that's massive on this freaking sidewalk because that's what it is.
Yeah.
And just drive. I don't know how. Because there's like 10-foot walls right next to it. So, I mean, you don't have a choice. You're going, man. Like, there's no choice. You can't stop and turn around. Like, if someone else is coming, that you just like what? Yeah, it's a lot.
So it's both ways.
Oh, absolutely. And then they'll throw and then they'll throw 4 or 5 people on a motorcycle, and you're like, dude, how do you even do this? Like, how is this even possible? Like, it's incredible. But yeah, so we were walking down. We got close to the guy's hut that was kind of watching us, trying to figure out what we were doing. When we got close to his hut, we got too close to the front of it. I noticed that he had disappeared. Usually when people disappear, that's a bad thing. That means that something's about to happen, or that there's something nearby, whether it be an IED that's close by and they don't want to be near the blast radius, or if it's like they know that the Taliban's in the area and they're about to start shooting and they want to get the heck out of there.
Right.
So I noticed that he was gone. I turned back to the rest of the people because I was in the front. I was the Valen operator, so I was the guy who was in charge of finding IEDs and stuff like that. So I had to be in the front with a metal detector, basically, is what the Valen is. So I was in front doing my little Valen thing. I noticed the guy wasn't around. The older guy wasn't around. Because usually people who are not really doing anything that they shouldn't be doing, they will watch you to see what you're doing or what you're doing in their country because you're not supposed to be there. And then they will literally stand like outside of their hut and watch you walk by and stuff like that. This guy just disappeared. So I noticed he was gone. I turned back to my guys and I said, hey, that old dude that was watching us is gone now. No idea where he is. And then they're probably 10 seconds later, after saying that, I see somebody in my peripheral vision. To thinking that it's the old guy. I look at him, the guy that I just saw in my peripheral vision, look at him, realize that he's just another guy standing there looking at us. I didn't really think anything about it. Everyone over there walks with like their hands behind their back. So you don't really start thinking like, okay, he's hiding something.
Right.
Unless you can clearly tell that he's hiding something. So I just went back to doing what I was doing. This guy's just looking at us like everyone else does. That's a little bit of complacency on my part, but anyways, I go back to doing my job, doing the Valent operations, and I see him move really quicker than people are supposed to be moving that are in my peripherals at this time.
Right.
So I see him move real quick, and I turn to him. He's maybe 15 feet from me, but he's behind like this little wall area. So I see him move real quick. I turn to him. I drop the Valen because as soon as I turn to him, I realize that he is pulling something from behind his back. So that means that I need to get ready to engage. So I drop the Valen, and before I can even pull my rifle up, he had already started firing with a PKM that he was hiding behind his back. And he shot me 10 times total, 5 times in the hip, which was the initial blast because it kind of went up. So 5 times in the hip, and then 4 times, 5 times in the hip, 4 times in the shoulder, and then once in the thigh. So the thigh started it, then the hip, and then the shoulder.
Now I'm gonna guess the initial reaction, like the shock from that. Did it? I mean, you felt all of that, obviously, but
I felt
what was your immediate like response to that? Or
so because of the fact that I could feel it, literally all I could do was just scream. I mean, there was nothing else that I could do at the time. I mean, it felt like someone took a fire poker and put it in the fire until it was bright red and then slowly pushed it through your skin. And I felt every single bit of that. And yeah, I mean, literally all I did was just yell. Like, I mean, there was nothing else that I could do. I mean, I just let out a yell of pain, man, and it hurt.
yeah, and your group, I mean, they're probably sitting there trying to fight off these guys. While you're in pain.
Yeah. So they were behind me a little bit. Once I got shot, there was a big opening in the wall that was next to us, and the people who were setting up an ambush, because they were originally setting up an ambush for us to go in one direction. The guy that I walked up on was not expecting us to go that way.
Right.
He was basically, my understanding is that he was coming toward us to try to figure out what we were doing, and then he realized that I was there, and he was like, "Oh shit! Like, what is this guy? He's not supposed to be here. He's supposed to be over the wall into this field." Originally, they were going to set up an L-shaped ambush in this field, and if you know anything about tactics within the military, the L-shaped ambush is the deadliest ambush that you can be a part of, because there's not going to be a lot of survivors, especially if we're out in the middle of an open field and they have an RPG team in front of us, and then they have a heavy machine gun team on the left. I mean, there's a good chance that all of us are not coming home.
Right.
Yeah.
So luckily we decided to change course. So since I got shot, the people who had the RPG on the other side of the field realized that something was happening with their other team that was over here. They started firing at the break in the wall because they knew that we were in that general area. So because they were firing through the break in the wall, the rest of my guys couldn't get to me at the time. So I was just kind of laying there. It's weird. When I fell, I saw the guy stood there for a while. Like, you could tell that I could see his weapon was jammed. He lifted up the cover, he was trying to mess with it, and he just couldn't get it. And then he looked up at me and saw that I was messing with my rifle, and he took off. Like, he took off running. He was like, "No, not today. I'm not dying today."
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it's crazy because my rifle actually ended up getting shot twice. So the rounds went, basically my rifle was over my chest. So the rounds went through the rifle through the plates, and I had bruises for a long time on my chest. But
From your vest.
What was that?
No, from the rounds. The tips of the rounds were protruding through the plates.
Through the plates of your vest?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Damn.
Yeah, it went through the rifle, through the plates, and you could see just little bits of the round that were protruding out of the plates. I mean, it was crazy. But But yeah, so I was just kind of laying there. Luckily my rifle had been shot, so it wasn't functional, and he didn't realize this, so he took off running. I mean, he was I've never seen someone move so fast.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, I remember every second of it. I mean, I never lost consciousness. I never blacked out. I was there I was wide awake from the moment I got shot until I got to the Kandahar Airfield Hospital. So I was even awake all during the helicopter flight, everything.
So when your team came in and did finally get to you, was there like a relief, or did you think that that was it before they got to you, or?
No, it was 100% a relief because the thing that I was worried about, the thing that was freaking me out more than anything, was the fact that this guy knew I wasn't dead, and he could just poke his head out of the corner of this little wall and take a couple shots and finish me off because I can't go anywhere.
Right.
Because my hip is all messed up. I literally have a chunk missing out of my hip. They said that they could see the ball joint in my hip from where the rounds had ripped the skin and muscle and tissue out. So I wasn't going anywhere. And that was the thing that absolutely terrified me, was knowing I didn't have any way to protect myself because my rifle was messed up, and laying there thinking, dude, this guy could just end it. Like, he could just peek his head around, take a couple shots, and I'm done.
Right.
So when they got to me, it was an incredible relief, because I knew they were setting up security, and the medic was getting to me and stuff like that. So yeah.
Did you not have a like a backup pistol?
No, not there. There were only certain of us were allowed to carry them. I was not one of those. There were only certain, our platoon leaders, our brass, of course, carry them, stuff like that. But a little peon PFC like me isn't going to be able to carry a pistol.
Right. So I do have a couple of comments in here, and one of them is a little off, but it was before we started talking. But M. Kirk asked about the big camel spiders. Did you ever encounter those?
Yeah, man. Absolutely, dude. Also, I've seen the biggest snakes I've ever seen in my life were in Afghanistan. I mean, they were ginormous snakes.
So that's not it. So it's not just the people. There's animals out there.
Oh my god, man! There's everything over there wants to hurt you. There's dogs there's dogs over there that are called wadi monsters, and the reason why we call them wadi monsters is a wadi we call like a creek here in the United States. When we're over there in the military, we call them wadis.
Okay.
I don't know why. I don't know if that's like translated somewhere else in the world, but they're called wadis when we're over there. But we call them wadi monsters because these giant packs of dogs, wild dogs, will just sit in these wadis, in these creeks that we go in and out of when we're walking and stuff like that. So you'll come up on a freaking pack of dogs, and they are not scared of people. They will 100%. I mean, they're giant. They're giant fluff balls, and they like easily over 100-pound animal, and they have no problem going after somebody.
What the? Sitting there wild.
Yeah. Oh yeah. They roam around in freaking wild packs of these freaking ginormous,
kind of like coyotes here.
Fluffy dog. Yeah, kind of in a way. In a way, they react and act like coyotes. I mean, they hang out in packs. They hunt in packs. Craziest thing I've ever seen.
Damn. Sean Young on here also said, love your story, and he's glad you're still with us. He's a vet as well. I know him. He's been on my show before.
Thank you.
Yeah, man. And what does it say? I still have nightmares about the grape rose.
Dude, for real, man. Grape rose are sketchy. Okay. So grape rose are like over there, there's if it's a crop in any way, shape, or form, it's either going to be weed, grapes, which is crazy, for like not really wine, but they use them for some other type of alcohol thing. And then poppy fields, which are beautiful when they're bloom, absolutely beautiful. A poppy field is gorgeous,
right.
But I mean, you get drugs out of them. So, but yeah, man, grape rose are sketchy because they will literally put an IED right where there's like a little walking path in a grape row. So we had to jump over the grape rows so that we weren't in the actual walking path. Man, you talk about hard walking. Like we're walking for, a couple miles, man, and we're jumping over these grape rows, and then you get to the end of it. It's an 8-foot, 10-foot wall. Now you got to jump over that. And it's just like,
Damn.
It's a lot, man, because you don't want to go through like an easy access point because there's a good chance there's going to be an IED sitting there,
Right.
or someone with a rifle that they got from someone else with a scope that's not even zero. They'll probably still take a shot at you through this little opening. And yeah, I mean, it's crazy, man. But yeah, and then once for me, like it was like marijuana fields, because once the marijuana gets freaking huge, we'll see fire and you have no idea where it's coming from, because it's up to here, so you can't see where anything is. You're just kind of walking through and cutting down stuff and pushing through, and I mean it's a lot.
Yeah, man. I mean, that just wears you out alone in itself, man. Not just the battling.
Absolutely.
So, after the shooting, after the helicopter and the hospital, did you retire at this point?
No. I actually, I fought medical retirement. I was an infantryman. I wanted to stay an infantryman. I wanted to go back to a line unit. I fought for 4 years. I had gone for the physical retention test a number of times, more times than anyone else that ever had at that point, because I was dead set that I was going back. Like I was going to stay on a line unit. The military was going to be my career. Like this is what I wanted to do. I was going to heal up and everything was going to be great. And then, after about 4 years, they were like, listen, like we don't, like it's not going to work. Like at this point, it's just not. So we're going to give you a list of all these other jobs that you can do, or you can medically retire. So when they gave me the list, I looked at it and I was like, no, like I gotta get out. Like this isn't. I signed up to fight. I mean,
Yeah.
that's in my eyes. Growing up, and in my eyes, no disrespect to anyone else's MOS, but growing up in my eyes, the guys fighting are soldiers, and that's what I wanted to be. That's what I was.
Right.
I didn't want to sit. I didn't want to sit at a desk for the rest of my career.
I wouldn't want to sit at a desk at all. I mean, I've always been hands-on, man.
Yeah.
So I understand that.
Sure. I mean, I grew up both my grandfathers were military.
Yeah.
One was Big Red One.
Hell yeah, man. Big Red One.
Yeah. The other one was First Cavalry. And they were both in during Korea.
Oh man, there you go. Man.
So, when you retired, did you start getting into music or
no? Actually, when I retired, I was in, When I retired, I was actually heavily into competitive archery. I am still technically part of the U.S. Paralympic program with archery. So I basically got recruited to play archery to shoot archery, but basically to play. I got recruited by the U.S. Paralympic Committee at an archery event, and the rest was history up until COVID. I traveled all over the country and I shot archery and made money that way. It was great for what I needed it for. Archery for me, when I found it, it was a form of therapy, in the sense that for the 7 seconds in between each shot, nothing else mattered. The PTSD, the depression, all the crap that I dealt with on a daily basis, that all disappeared. And so I lived for that. I lived for those 7 seconds. I lived for that moment in time when everything was able to just get rid of everything.
Right.
That escape. I lived for that. And then, when COVID hit, everything shut down. Archery shut down. Everything. So I needed to find something else that I could get that escape from. That I could just basically throw everything that I had into it and just be able to disappear for a little bit.
Right.
So I'd always had a I'd always had a guitar sitting around. So I was like, maybe I can learn how to play this. So I jumped on YouTube, and which, by the way, if you're not learning something from YouTube, you're doing YouTube wrong.
Right.
I have learned so much crap from YouTube. I mean, it's just crazy.
Fixing my car, like I
Oh
don't know
man,
anything about it.
absolutely, 100%. You're gonna find what you want to do on YouTube. Like if you have an issue, like plumbing issue, guarantee it's on YouTube. Go check it out. I mean, it's unbelievable the things you can find and learn. So I jumped on there and found a guy called the country music teacher, something like that. I don't remember. But yeah, I learned G, C, E minor, and D, the 4 basic chords that make up basically every country song known in existence.
Right.
So I got really comfortable with playing those. I just playing around G, C, minor, D. And I actually wrote a couple songs just to like get an idea and an understanding of what songwriting was and how it worked. And, again, jumped on YouTube and learned how to, basically structure a song when you're writing a song, stuff like that. So with COVID being an issue, I found that new escape in playing guitar. And I had always sang when I was younger. I mean, like I said, my dad would turn on Garth Brooks and we would both be screaming at the top of our lungs to some Garth Brooks for, at least both sides of the cassette, So,
Wait, you actually turned the cassette over?
yeah, man, got turned over and then turned
Yeah.
it back over.
Yeah,
Absolutely,
I remember.
100%.
I remember.
Yeah.
My first
So-
cassette was Ace of Base.
Oh, there you go. But yeah, so it was that, and then it was I gotten used to that, and then singing in church with my mom, stuff like that, and it was, singing for me growing up was just kind of something that I really enjoyed, and even being an adult, like there, of course, I'm turning on the radio in my car, and I'm just freaking singing whatever I'm feeling at the time, and I did that forever. I've been singing since I was a kid. So I knew that, I had that ability. Maybe I was decent at singing, but now I knew how to play the guitar. I was starting to learn songs. I was starting to see that not only can you learn from YouTube, but there's also apps on your phone that will show you that where to play a G and where to play a D in respect to the song.
Doesn't
I was like,
aren't there apps that'll actually help you tune your guitar now too?
absolutely. 100%. You can find anything on your phone. But yeah, so I jumped on this tab app and started learning, okay, I play a G here, a D here, I play E minor here. And while I'm doing that, I'm also trying to sing the song. So when I sang this word, I switched chords. Too easy. So I started learning how to do that. And then I started learning songs, man. And then with COVID happening, a lot of the bars down here were shut down to the regular musicians. But if you were still going to do a writer's round or an open mic night, you could still do that.
Right.
So I jumped on a Thursday open mic night, and that 7 seconds of peace, that 7 seconds of escape that I found in archery was magnified to 3 minutes, an hour and a half, whatever, when I'm on stage, because nothing else matters at that time. That was my escape, being on stage, being able to sing, being able to play the guitar, just
Right.
being on stage and being in my own, bubble of, that, and that became my escape. So I knew that, all right, this is what I need. I need to do this. I need to figure out how to play more. I need to figure out where to go. I need to figure out, what I need to do. COVID needs to stop being an asshole so that I can do this.
Right.
And eventually, the restrictions started getting lifted, and they started letting musicians play. And at this time, like, I had been to open mic nights, I had been to writers' rounds, I had played I had played a TV show where I played two songs that I had written. So I was like, man, at this point, like, I'm ready. Like, I want more. Like, I want to do a show that's 3 hours or 4 hours, because that's Nashville. That's what you're gonna do. You're gonna play a 3 hour, 4 hour show. And I was like, man, I that's what I want. I want to do that. I want to be on stage for 3 hours. I want to be on stage for 4 hours. I want to find that, that escape throughout the day where I only, where I have those 3 or 4 hours to myself. Right. Because at the end of the day, that's what it is. Of course, I've learned now, but when I started, it was, I just need that escape. I need to get away. Now I've learned, I can have that escape, but I can still connect with the crowd. I can still talk to them. I can still interact.
Right.
And that has even that has become part of the escape. And it doesn't make me feel like, oh, that now it's like a work thing. And now I gotta, I have to work at, this and that. Now it's, being able to connect with, someone who's out in the crowd that loves music just as much as I do. That being able to find that bond and that connection, that's amazing. So, yeah, eventually I found that, but it took me a little bit of not closing my eyes the entire time.
Right.
Or, watching the little scroll on my phone showing, where I need to play the chords and stuff like that. But yeah, man, I found that escape, and I've just basically dove in head first. And now I'm working with a label and, in talks with a label. Yeah, man, it's going great. It really is. I'm putting music out, and yeah.
All right.
If you like being on stage that long, you need to check out with the barbecue contest down at Jack Daniels.
Deal.
They have
I like barbecue and I like playing music. I'm in.
They got the barbecue contest down there. This year's the second week in October.
Really?
And
he goes to that Jack
called
Daniels
Party on the Hill on that Friday night.
Heck
and
yeah!
They have all kinds of different artists that would come in every year.
Yeah.
So it might be something to reach out and kind of ask them.
I'm in, man. Barbecue and music, I like it.
Yeah.
Throwing a beer and you can't keep me away.
I'd throw you one of these, but I don't know how well.
That's the only time down in Lynchburg that you can drink because it's dry county.
Mm.
So,
which is weird with the distillery right there. So
you can make it there, but you can't. You can eat it. Like they say, you can eat it, but you can't.
Yeah, absolutely.
They put in all their food.
Have you been to that distillery?
I have not yet. I want to take the tour. That's something I'll talk to my girlfriend about doing. Yeah. I think she's watching right now. So
he goes.
I will do that.
We go every year. Me and my girlfriend. Really? Every year.
Oh, heck yeah, man. That's awesome.
Her dad won the very first contest down there. He's a big guy, and awesome. He goes down every year now just to judge it.
Yeah.
Paul Kurt, KC Burn Barbecue.
Okay. That's amazing.
Yeah, so we're down there every year.
That's awesome. Heck yeah.
Yeah. It's a great time.
I'll tell you what, Kansas City's got some damn good barbecue as well.
Yes, we do.
They're all right.
So let's get into the stories that they tell, man. How'd you like go about writing this song? Like, what was kind of the
So this song was written by me and my really good friend. He's become probably one of my best friends. His name's Doug Johnson. He is the head A&R guy for Black River Entertainment, which is the label that I'm in talks with right now. But he has written 3 Wooden Crosses by Randy Travis. He has written Love Like Crazy by Lee Brice. He has written some, amazing songs. The dude has written some incredible songs. I had a meeting with him and, he liked the songs that I played. Like we kind of connected instantly. And he's like, yeah, man, I like you. He said, but really to get to know you, I need to write a song with you. And I was like, okay, perfect. You know, he's a songwriter. This dude has like 10 number one hits. Love Like Crazy still holds the Guinness Book of World Records for the longest amount of time on the charts. And I mean, it's the dude has written some insane stuff. So I was like, yeah, absolutely. Like, let's write a song. Absolutely. Do I want to write a song? Are you serious? But yeah, so we went in for the meeting after that. Once we set up the songwriting meeting, went in and he was like, all right, well, you know, like what are you thinking? Blah, blah, blah. And I was like, well, you know, I want to tell a story about what we as veterans don't really talk about, you know, or what isn't really known, or as, you know, what we do and how we react to things and why we do and why we react to things. I said, you know, we for me, I tell the stories of my friends that I lost because for those moments in time when I'm telling those stories, my buddies are alive again, right? Because in memory that they're alive. You know, when you're telling a story, you see images, right? You visually see it while you're telling the story. So for those brief moments when I'm telling the story, my buddies are alive again, and I was like, I want to tell that story because I know that I'm not the only veteran who does this, who tells the stories about their friends in order to keep their memory alive, in order to keep them alive in their hearts and souls and their minds. I was like, I know I'm not the only other veteran who does this. And he was like, yeah, that's the song we're writing. Okay, let's do it. So we sat down. I swear to God, this song was done in 45 minutes. I mean, this song just flew. I mean, it flew out. It flew out of me. He had me and him had a very long talk about everything that I've been through, my buddies and everything. I mean, he had some amazing ideas. I had some ideas, and we knocked it out. I mean, this is what the general public don't understand about veterans. You know, this is for me, being a veteran and being an artist. I want to, you know, spread awareness, whether it be awareness in, PTSD, depression, whether it be awareness in the physical disabilities and the physical injuries and stuff like that. But I also want to spread awareness about us as veterans and our mindsets and what we think about and how we deal basically with everything. And this was a song that I knew that would help people understand us and how we think and what we think about and stuff like that. So yeah.
And just listening to the lyrics, I mean, you can feel it. You really can. So I'm going to go ahead and play it.
It's funny. We actually just went, I just went into the studio and re-recorded all these vocals. So it's going to sound so much better. But yeah.
Than what we're getting ready to hear.
Yeah. We've got it real tight now, and it sounds awesome.
If I could do it, I would too. But I can't write songs. But you know, I spent 12 years in law enforcement and lost my best friend.
Absolutely, and I mean
she got shot and killed back in 2018.
Yeah, you know, and everyone's like, "Oh man, you know, like I've had law enforcement come up, man. I don't know how you did it, man. I don't know how you went over." I'm like, dude, I don't know how you do it. Like I volunteered to go over to another country. You're here at home.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you're here at home fighting. Yeah. Like I don't know how you do it. Like I don't know how someone could do that. I don't know how someone, you know, could face. You know, no one wants to understand that. You know, there's evil in the world, let alone evil in your neighborhood. Right. You know, so having to face that on a daily basis would be very, very hard.
Right. Yeah, walk out the door in the morning, not make it home.
Yeah,
absolutely.
So we're gonna go ahead and play the song. It'll be kind of a break for us. If you want to say something, the mic still works, so there's no reason why you can't say something in the middle of it.
Cool.
If you want me to pause it, tell me if there's something that pops.
Oh yeah, so in this song, so we reference a couple characters in this song.
Yes,
right?
Yes.
So we start with Bob. Bob is just, you know, that everyday Vietnam veteran. Everyone knows who he is. He's got that damn hat on that says Vietnam vet on it. It's probably got some medals hanging from it. He's that big hefty boy that just hangs out, drinks beer, smokes cigars. That's Bob.
Right.
Connor in the song is a guy that I was deployed with. He's actually a real person. He's a really good friend.
All right.
Yeah, he's a really good friend of mine. Yeah. So Connor,
That's
and then we have you'll see. But I wanted to explain that Connor is actually a real person.
See, this is good because this is kind of what I want from this show is people to hear things that they're not going to know about just from listening to the song. So
absolutely.
All right, here we go. Let's see.
Friday night down at the Legion Bar, Bill opened up a box of old cigars. Said on this day back in '69, I lost a best friend of mine. Connor said that's the place I've been, but it was 2010 Afghanistan. He raised his glass, said here's to friends and their ultimate sacrifice. Yeah, the times and places, they may change, but one thing stays the same. The stories that they tell about going through hell. If you think they wouldn't do it all over again, well, you just don't know them. The memories that they own of the ones who didn't make it home. But they keep them all living in the stories that they tell. Bartender says next round for me. I spent some time overseas. Tonight's my first night behind this bar. Bill handed him a cigar. Well, the faces and the pictures, they may change, but one thing stays the same. The stories that they tell about going through hell. If you think they wouldn't do it all over again, well, you just don't know them. The memories that they own of the ones who didn't make it home. Sure do miss them, but they keep them all living in the stories that they tell. Yeah, some will laugh and some will cry. Sometimes they'll wonder why. And I've been there, so I wrote this song. I know the need to carry on. The stories that they tell about going through hell. If you think they wouldn't do it all over again, well, you just don't know them. The memories that they are the ones who didn't make it home. Yeah, they sure do miss them, but they keep them all living in the stories that they tell. We sure do miss them, but we keep them all living in the stories that we tell.
That's some good stuff, man.
I love that song.
That's great. I did have a couple comments in here. Somebody did ask, Daniel Jackson asked if you do your own backing vocals.
No, actually, so in this song, the guy singing the background vocals, his name is oh shit. Oh, here we go. All right. I'm sorry. His name is Pryor Baird. He's a friend of mine, a friend that I just forgot his name. It's
a friend of mine. I don't know.
Yeah, his name's Pryor Baird. And if you ever watch The Voice, he was on The Voice. Okay. Him and another guy that was on The Voice formed a duo called Pryor and Lee. They have since went their separate ways, and now Pryor is doing his own separate thing and solo thing. He's a phenomenal singer. I love his voice, And as soon as I heard him sing, I told Doug that he had to be the background vocals.
Oh, nice.
And it worked out. He grew up. His dad was a commander of a VFW. And there it was funny because we were sitting there talking, and he's like, my dad was, he'd been in the military. He'd went overseas. He was a commander of the VFW. And he remembers a guy that he called Uncle Bob. And he sat at the bar, and everyone knew who he was, and he was just an amazing guy. And when we started talking about it, and he listened to the song and stuff like that, and we had a little meeting about who was, him coming in and singing, like he started like tearing up and stuff. And I was like, yeah, like this is the dude that's going to sing this with me. Like he's got to be the background vocals. So that's who's on the background vocals for that. I haven't done my own background vocals. I'm not going to lie. I haven't figured out harmonizing yet. I suck at it. I don't understand it. I don't know. Like, I don't get it. I don't understand like how to like what I need to do as far as changing octaves from the person who's singing. I don't know what freaking octave they're in, so I don't know how to change. I don't know what I'm doing. Right. So yeah, I'm horrible at it. I'm working with a vocal coach like every artist does, but I'm working with a vocal coach to to learn a little bit more about harmonizing and stuff like that. But I just haven't gotten there yet. Also, Sean, thanks, man, for following me on Spotify. I appreciate that, man.
Yeah, he's a great guy, man. He's got a more beautiful beard than I do.
Heck yeah.
He actually lives in Anchorage, Alaska.
Wow, nice.
Yeah,
that's amazing.
So dude, that song, I've probably listened to that song 30 times since you and I first met, and on Instagram. So it definitely hits home, even if you're not into country. Just the lyrics, the lyrics themselves.
I mean, I couldn't say how many times. So when I play it live, if you go to my YouTube, when I have a video of it when I did a Guitars for Vets thing. And when I play it live, I slow it down a lot. This is, and it's something that I wanted to do for people who get to experience me playing live. That I wanted to, when I play acoustically, I wanted people to get a different version of this song. And I couldn't tell you how many people I have after a show downtown that are like, man, that song's what it's about.
Right.
Like, awesome. And it's just people who could give two craps about country music and just came to drink, and now they're crying because it made them think about something. I was just like, that's what I want, man. I mean, as an artist, as a musician, we're here to make you feel things.
Right.
So, I mean, that's, whether it be, fun, craziness, sadness, happiness. I mean, we're here to make you feel. That's the whole point of music.
Right. And before we get into this next song, there is one thing we haven't mentioned is you can't actually open your thumb properly, correct?
No. So I have, when I got shot, I have a brachial plexus injury, which means that my nerves are affected. This is me straightening my fingers.
Oh, wow.
I can't hold a pick. So I actually have this strap. Beautiful. I love the fact that I just leave stuff laying around. All right. So I actually have a strap that looks like this. And it has a hole. I put the pick into the hole and basically strap it to my thumb. And that is how I play. I can't hold a pick, so I have to strap it on there.
Right. And did that take some time to learn?
It took a lot of trial and error for sure. I
feel like it's hard to kind of learn on like YouTube videos and stuff like that. Man,
I mean, you're just learning strumming. So if anyone starts talking about individual picking stuff, I'm like, yeah, no, I don't know what the hell I'm talking about. I can't even feel this hand. You think I'm gonna be able to individually pick strings? No way.
Right.
But it for the longest time it was just strumming with my thumb, and then I learned that there's freaking thumb picks out there. So I went through hundreds of thumb picks. I mean, I went there. I was playing a show once. One flew off, hit somebody in the back of the head. I was like, this isn't going to work. I'm going to have to play with my thumb. It hurts like hell, but the reward for playing and being on stage was more prevalent than the pain that I was feeling in my thumb.
Right.
And then I finally found somewhere online, I don't even know how I found this, But I found somewhere online, these people, they're called Strumming Comfort, and you literally Velcro it onto your thumb. And I was like, dude, this is what I need. Like, can I try this? I reached out to him, the guy who owns it, and he was like, yeah. Like, I never even thought about the fact that this could be an adaptive device. Like,
Right.
let's do it. Like, let's partner together, and you be my, research and development for adaptive stuff, and we'll see if this works. And I was like, great. I love this idea. And I mean, yeah, he sent me bags upon bags of stuff of different ones to see which ones fit and which ones work and which ones don't, stuff like that. And I mean, it's completely changed the way that I play. I mean, I can play for 8 hours at a time. I mean, it's awesome.
Now this next song, it reminds me, like, if I'm getting ready to go on vacation during the summer, or if I'm gonna go to the lake, go camping, it just has that vibe,
Yeah. So this song was the very first song that I ever recorded. And at the time when I went and, met my buddies who helped me, write it, it was, I was like, listen, like, I have a lot of love songs. Like, I understand how to write love songs. I'm decent at it. I actually have a love song that is recorded and stuff, and we're working on releasing that, but that's neither here or there. I was like, man, like, I understand love songs. Like, I get that. I want to write something different. I have people, I have you guys here with me, Liam Slater and Jake Partial. And I was like, listen, I have you guys here with me. You guys have written songs before. I want to write a fun, fast, in your face song. Like, just roll the windows down and turn it the hell up and let everyone hear it. Like, that's the song that I want to write. And they were like, okay. And I was like, all right, cool. I don't know where we're going. And he look, my buddy Jake, we wrote it at his house, and he actually produced it. And he did all of the guitar portions of the song. He used to play guitar for Jacob Bryant, who is an artist and country music artist. But then he decided that he can make more money producing. So, he did that. But yeah, so we decided, cool, this is the song we're going to write. We didn't have any ideas. We didn't know what the hell we were going to do. We just wanted to write something fast, really quick, and just loud, in your face, from the beginning. I mean, it's got to be from the beginning, boom, in your face. And then he looked out the window, saw that I was driving a truck, because I drive a pickup truck, and he was like, well, let's write a song about a truck. And I was like, damn, man. Like, everyone writes a song about a freaking truck. Because I told my girlfriend when I first started this music stuff, she's been incredibly supportive from the beginning. Yeah. When we met, I was not even interested in music, and then COVID happened, and then music started happening, and she has been on board from the beginning. She's amazing because of it. Man. But I told her when we got into it, I was like, I'm not going to write a song about a truck. I'm not going to write a song about drinking beer. I was like, everyone does that. They write songs about trucks and they write songs about beer, and I don't understand it. And sure as shit, the first song that I record is a song about a truck. But the best part about this song to me, when we wrote it, because I told them, like, when we first got into it, we started just throwing stuff out there, just like, okay, we're gonna talk about this and this, and I was like, listen, I don't want to write I don't want to write a song about a truck. Everyone does it. It's been played out, and they were like, okay, well, let's just go and we'll see where it goes. And I was like, okay, fine. So we start writing, and pretty quickly, I start to realize that this song isn't about a truck. This song is about a mindset. The song is about, being in the mindset of being outside, being able to take care of whatever you need to do. Like, this is a mindset song. This isn't just about trucks. And this is that mindset of, hey, if you don't like me being me and me being outside, me doing this, me doing that, well, instead of saying the F word, just truck it, dude. Like, so yeah, I mean, the song is so fun. Now that I listen to it back, I'm like, dude, this song is cool. Like,
it is, and the vibe is totally different.
Absolutely, 100%. And it's just a really cool, fun song.
To be your first two releases, like, it's great. Just the two different tones
Absolutely.
completely. And they're captured, like you said, you capture the emotions. Like I said, for me, it's like it makes me want to go camping or go.
Absolutely. It makes you want the song makes you want to go do something outside.
Right.
When you listen to it, you're like, I need to go fix a fence or some shit. Like I need to go do like it just makes you want to get like that's and that plays back to that mindset, you know. It makes your mind go somewhere. You know, for me, it made my mind go back to riding back roads with my friends and just listening to music and just rolling down the windows and blaring the music and just enjoying our time, man. And that was what I wanted. I wanted this song to not just be some dumb song about a truck. I wanted it to be a song that reminded you of something or made you want to do something or made, you know, or just made you feel good and made you feel happy and fun. Like that's what I want. So, and I feel like that's what we accomplished. And
yeah, man. Well, let's get into it. You ready for this?
Yeah, absolutely.
How do you haul some 2x4s to mend the fence after a storm? Get a day's worth of hay where the cattle graze, some red dirt on the floorboards, you truck it. How do you get to a Saturday parking lot, cornhole tailgate with a cooler packed above 30 rats? Everybody ready for the game. Gets 20 to the mile, 50 for a tank. You can call me crazy, I don't care what you think. It's hollow ground in my escape. Speakers cranking Skinner on the interstate with the tires humming, the V8's rushing, nothing else can touch it. If you don't understand, truck it. Gets the kids to school at 9 a.m. It's where my girl sits on the weekend. Throw a blanket down, the best seat in town for a movie at the drive-in. Truck it. Gets 20 to the mile, 50 for a tank. You can call me crazy, I don't care what you think. It's hollow ground in my escape. Speakers cranking Skinner on the interstate with the tires humming, the V8's rushing, nothing else can touch it. If you don't understand, truck it. Take it out in the mud. Listen to that ride. Gets 20 to the mile, 50 for a tank. You can call me crazy, I don't care what you think. It's hollow ground, it's my escape. Speakers cranking Skinner on the interstate with the tires humming, the V8's rushing, nothing else can touch it. If you don't understand, truck it.
Man,
Yeah, man, that sounds fun, dude. I love
that's
listening to that
yeah. M. Kirk says she has a truck it list. Dude, totally different vibe. And-
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, and that's one thing that I loved about it, you know. And then, like I said, the next, I don't know what's going to be the next one that gets released, but we have some other stuff that is also completely different. I mean, I have a love song that's more of a wedding song, and I mean, it is to the T's a song that someone who's been married more than once might play at their wedding or as a first dance. It's very slow and very, very, very heartfelt. It was a song that I wrote for my girlfriend, but yeah, I mean, it's It's a really good one.
Man.
And then, we're working right now we're working on something very, very special that we're going to ask. I can't really say too much, but we're going to ask we're asking some other really big named artists to get on it with me, and yeah, so we'll have to stay tuned for that one.
Well, I got my fingers crossed for you, man. Much respect, and it's you got good stuff, man, and it's definitely I see it going somewhere for sure.
Thank you, I appreciate that.
Yeah, and I appreciate you coming on here. It's
thanks for having me, man.
Yeah, dude. This whole show, it's funny because I started the other podcast, which when we initially talked, I wanted you to come on.
Yeah,
but the whole idea of my name, Jukebox Ginger, is the fact that I appreciate music. I'm not very musically talented, but I appreciate all music. And as I've been growing, I was like, man, I really want to touch base on my name, Jukebox Ginger. So I started jamming with Jukebox, and I've had a lot of bands that have been following me on Instagram lately.
Yeah,
and I'm like, dude, I'm doing this. So that's you're number 2, and it's been fantastic.
Hey, I appreciate it.
Yeah, dude, I appreciate you coming on here, and if you ever want to come on the other show as well and just kind of have some laughs, I'd be more than happy to have you on.
Whenever, man, absolutely.
Hey, if you're not out busy,
Yeah, well, I mean, either way, it might be 9:00 at night, but I'll be there.
Yeah, dude, I'm usually doing my stuff late because I got kids, anyways.
Yeah, absolutely.
Is there anywhere tell everybody they can find you? And
yeah, I mean, you can find me Instagram, Facebook, TikTok. I don't have a Twitter because I just figured out TikTok. I don't even want to go down the rabbit hole that is Twitter. Let's see. You can find me basically on anywhere you get your music. Type in Scotty Hasting. I will be there, and you can listen to Truck It or The Stories That They Tell. You can download it. I'm on Amazon Music. Basically, just go to your Alexa and tell her to play Scotty Hasting. And
it is Hasting. There is no S on the end.
Hasting. There is no S on Hasting. Absolutely. It's funny because everyone from when I was a kid, like coaches and everything, have always said Hastings. They've always added the S, that even like typing it, writing it, whatever, everyone's always added it. So it's the fact that you did not surprise me. So it's all good.
Absolutely. All right, man. Well, hey, you have a wonderful night. And again, I appreciate you coming on here. I appreciate everybody on here that's commented. Sean, Aaron, I know M. Kirk is Aaron, Spirit Medium Daniel. Thanks for being a part of this. And we will see everybody around.
Absolutely. Thank y'all. Thank y'all so much.
Have a wonderful evening.
Meeting you.
You too. Absolutely.